Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and this is the summary for the day of 691 for the 15th of January. As you can see, weather is still pretty cloudy, so definitely we are going to see more clouds, more snow into the region. So for the frontline changes, there is only one for this past 24 hours. Basically, it's over, where is it? Over at the Kharkiv front, Kupyansk front. So this is, so let me show you. So this is Kupyansk front. Let me pull out the. So this is Kupyansk city, and this is the Kupyansk front, and the frontline change is actually over here at the south of Kherson. So this is Kherson or Kotlyarivka. And there is a geolocation of Ukrainian forces getting hit around this area here. They are hit by the flamethrower system of TOS-1A of the Russians. And this actually doesn't change the front line a lot, a little bit only. It just shows that the Russians are not there. So the Russians are probably along these three lines while the Ukrainians are along this one, which makes a lot of sense because it's very hard to be holding a small position around this area here. So which does make sense because with all these geolocations, we'll start to make things a lot more cleaner. But we really purely depending on whether we have the footage and whether we have the geolocations by the the brilliant geolocators in the OSINT community to help us do this. So this actually here this is just one small change. Otherwise in this area here I don't expect much to happen around this area. This pretty, yeah, it's in the valley region where the Ukrainians are. The Russians are on the high ground along this area here, but there is also may not be necessary because the Ukrainians actually claims the front line to be much further away, whereas the Russians claim in this area here where they have Avdiivka. So we shall continue to wait for more geolocations to confirm this difference of in terms of the front line. We move on back to the normal the strategic and tactical reporting. We go from the Kupyansk front again. In the Kupyansk front, there is actually no fighting in the area where the frontline change was happening. The fighting is still remaining over the Sinkivka region. We do not have any more fighting reported at the Petropavlivka region, but we do have the Ukrainians being reported to be attacking at the Liman Lake and the Sinkivka region. So if I zoom in, you'll probably see much better. There's a lake over here. This is a Liman Lake, and the Ukrainian forces are actually pushing around this area, as well as fighting within Sinkivka region. While the Russians are supposedly attacking Sinkivka, they are pretty much still within the forest region. So that's about it around the Kupyansk front. We move on. Over at the Svetove front, we have no changes over the Svetove front. We move on into the Kreminna front. So this is Kreminna. At the Kreminna front situation, there is some change. Russian forces are on the initiative back again over in the Kreminna front, with fighting reported at Terny, at Yampolivka, at Torske, within the Serebranske forestry, and at Khorivka. And going to the Siversk front, there is also at Bilohorivka in the Luhansk region. So the Ukrainians are reportedly only attacking at Dibrova. So this is the strategic situation over at the Kreminna front. Fighting is still pretty fierce, but front line don't really change much. We move into the Siversk front. This is the Siversk city. And the Siversk front, the Russian Siversk offensive seems to be rolling on, with fighting continued to be reported at Verkhem Okanyamsky. According to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, they also reported about fighting at Rozdolivka as well as Vesele. And as I mentioned earlier, there's fighting reported at the Bilohorivka of the Luhansk region. So this Siversk offensive is still ongoing. We shall continue to monitor and see how serious are the Russians in terms of this offensive. So we move on over at the Bakhmut front. This is Bakhmut city. At the Bakhmut front in the northern flank, we only have reports of the fighting over in the north of Bodanivka, or the northwestern part of Bodanivka. This might be a repeat of the same report we have mentioned in yesterday's SITREP. If you have not watched yesterday's SITREP, you must watch yesterday's SITREP, because a lot of important information was mentioned yesterday. So if you missed that one, you'll find today's very watery. Actually, all the meat is actually yesterday. And then there's also fighting reported towards Ivanivsky, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. So this may not have happened, or this may actually be just a belated report, because the Rivals report is for the 13th to the 15th. So it's across 3 days. It could be a repeat of what we have already mentioned previously. Geolocation of Ukrainian forces getting bombarded within Chasiv at Kreminna, or this Kreminna. So but they call it part of Chasiv. So let's see how this goes. Further south, in the southern flank, Russian offensive in the southern flank continues, with fighting reported in the northern flank. Same situation with the one at Berdyanivka. This was a part of this SITREP by Ryber, which includes 3 days, 13, 14, 15. And there's fighting reported at Klishchiivka, at Andriivka, as well as Kotlyarivka. So strategic situation in the southern flank of Bakhmut Front remain the same. We move on. There's no more fighting being reported at the New-York Front. There was supposedly an attack by the Ukrainians from New York in the New York region, was not mentioned. And move on into the Avdiivka Front. At the Avdiivka Front, fighting continues. The Russian offensive in the Avdiivka Front continued, with fighting reported at Berdyanivka, Stepove, at the coke plant, in the northern part of Avdiivka, south of Vasily, at Zhevny, Pervomaysky, and Nevelsky. So there is a inclusion of this new one at Vasily, as well as the coke plant one. This coke plant is by Ryber. The one at Vasily, south of Vasily, is by Deep State UA. So we have the pro-Russian and pro-Ukrainian source all reporting additional information that let us see the general picture that the Russians are still making very serious push in this area here. But there is no discernible frontline changes tentatively based on the information that we get. Although there is always all these reports or mentions about making progress, capturing some strongholds, but until we have some verifiable change in the front line, or some reports from the different OSINs able to confirm the change, there is no change tentatively. There is geolocation of Russian forces just off Kashtanove, or in the southwestern part of Avdiivka. There's a Russian tanks operating, firing at Ukrainian positions, and there's also Ukrainian vehicles getting hit by FPV drones, suicide drones at Pervomaysky. So I have posted these videos on the DPA Telegram channel, and which is over here, so you can actually check it out. Or if you have not joined the Telegram channel, do come over to the Telegram channel and check it out. And due to the lower views as well over at DPA, so do press the subscribe button. And if not, if you are already done, you can also consider becoming a Patreon. We have over 200 members supporting DPA, and so although I think 1/3 of them is not paying at the tentatively, so do consider supporting DPA financially, because the views are a bit too low. It's a little bit not sustainable already, so do help to support my work over in the coverage of the Ukraine war, and also across the bigger geopolitical scene. And yeah, press the like button, subscribe. Moving on over at the Donetsk Front. This is the Donetsk Front. At the Donetsk Front, there is fighting reported in the Krasnohorivka and Marinka Novomykhailivka region, with the Russian forces reportedly attacking Krasnohorivka towards Georgievka, Poyeda, as well as Pervomaysky. And for Novomykhailivka. The Novomykhailivka, as per reported yesterday, is likely to be coming from 3 different directions: the north, south, and eastern part. And so take note that when we talk about Novomykhailivka, which is this region here, the attack might be coming from multiple directions. The main change in this area is actually there is a geolocation of Ukrainian forces actually attacking the Russian forward position along this tree line. So the Ukrainians try to attack. The video is also posted on the DPA Telegram channel. You can go and check it out. It's a pretty long one, 14 minutes. But the information from the Russian side claims that the attack is eventually repelled. So you can take it with a pinch of salt. Furthermore, within the front line, we have attacks being reported west of Novodonetsk. This information coming from Ryba. This part of the report talking about an offensive north of Kreminna, which is over here. There is some attack north of Kreminna. They are very vague about it. So based on the mapping, it looks like it's a western part of Novodonetsk. Another Lancet attack. So there is a lot of Lancet attack in the geolocations that I see on this past 24 hours. This is one of the many. One of the self-propelled gun of the Ukrainians getting hit near Preshestivka or Novoukrainka at this location, northeast of Zolota Neva. We move into the Zaporizhzhia Front. So this is Zaporizhzhia, and this is the Zaporizhzhia Front. It's actually a very long front line. Yesterday we talked about Zaporizhzhia Front. There is this seemingly huge Zaporizhzhia offensive that started. We shall see whether it's the case. At the Velika Novoselka sector, the Russians are reportedly attacking north of Volodine or north of Staromlivnivka. Based on the Ryba's animation, it looks like they are pointing to the fighting at Rivnopil or the western part of Staromayorsky. It doesn't look like the north of Staromlivnivka. So we shall see how this goes. Something I noticed about Ryba's is that their graphic mapping versus their animation versus the textual reporting may or not match. So it is a sign of different people are working and interpreting the same information a bit differently. But it's not a big issue. But it's just something that you need to note if you are following Ryba. There's nothing over at Huaypole. Previously, we have reports of fighting around this area here at Zhivone. There was also fighting reported at Stepove. It was not repeated as well. And we move on over the Orikhiv sector. This is the Orikhiv sector. The Russians' counter-offensive over the Orikhiv sector continues with fighting reported towards Robotine in the area of Novoprokopivka, west of Verbove as well as at Verbove region. Information comes from a variety of sources, mainly Russian and Ukrainian Defense Ministry. And so there's strategically not much difference in this sense. And there is also no more fighting being reported over at this Kayamsky sector at the Zerebianki or Petikaki region. So it seems like a one-off. So there's a massive Zaporizhzhia offensive that might be happening, did not happen. But the situation over at the Donetsk Front continues to raise some questions, and definitely Siversk Front is definitely the one that is heating up. So that's interesting. Otherwise, we have the usual where the Russians are conducting their offensive like Avdiivka and Bakhmut region. So that's normal, as well as Orikhiv sector. And we move on to the Kherson Front. At the Kherson Front, the Ukrainians still is at Krinky, with the Russians continue to be mentioned by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry to be attacking Krinky. So there's nothing special about this already. It's getting a bit numb. The footages coming out from this region do suggest that the Konka River and the Krinka River is getting frozen. So while the rubber boats or the RHIB boats are still able to traverse it, they still can move and travel around it. That is a lot more inconvenient because there's a lot of ice. There is a shattered ice that is blocking and making the traveling a bit more harder, and it also makes it less maneuverable when they are attacked by Russian drones. When the drones drop some grenades or mortar on them, it's much harder for them to run away, and it's shown on one of the video footage, which is not geolocated here. So that's something to really think about. That the frozen situation will affect some of the battles around this area here, particularly for the Ukrainians trying to reinforce Krinky. And there is a multiple geolocation of Lancet strikes. So there's one hitting the artillery system south of Inhulivka Another one in the south of Limansk Sea, also by geolocated by Kreminna is yet another artillery system getting hit by Lancet. So the Lancets are really, you know, wreaking havoc. And another Lancet hitting another artillery system, I believe. Yes, artillery system in the southeast of Inhulis or northwest of Kotlyarivka. So if you look at the strategic situation, the Ukrainians are here at Krinky, the beachhead, with the Russians attacking, and then we have a Lancet strike here, here, and here. So this distance is quite far. It's around almost 20 kilometers at the furthest point. And previously, the cluster of Ukrainian artillery system was taken out in this area here. So now the artillery system that is now taken out is much further away. They are escaping away from the Tyakhinka region, trying to, you know, redeploy, or they send reinforcement into new areas to continue to support their operation over at Krinky. And definitely within 20 kilometers, that's definitely within artillery range. They can continue to support the operation, but because they have only one beachhead, that's the main problem. This one beachhead makes it very easy for the Russians to zoom in at where the Ukrainian artillery could be. And given that they just draw an arrow 20 kilometers away from Krinky, and then they start to draw a curve, and that's exactly where all their drones will be hunting. This is why the Ukrainians have lost way too many artillery systems in this area alone. This is just way too many artillery systems getting lost, and I'm not sure if it's worth it in the long run. So anyway, that's it. This is the summary for the day of 691 for the 15th of January. Like I mentioned, yesterday's view is a bit low, so if you have missed yesterday's report, do check it out. You may there's a lot more meat into that report. There's a lot more things over there. And also, like I mentioned, join the DPA Telegram channel. Consider supporting DPA financially through Patreon, YouTube membership, Boosty, or locals, and coffee.com. And also, you know, yeah, do press the like button, subscribe. Yeah, especially for those that are not subscribed, you have to subscribe, because it is how the algorithm works. If you subscribe, means YouTube will push the video to more new viewers. So if not, you're just one of the new viewers, and they will think that, you know, they are pushing you, and then you don't subscribe, so you don't like the video enough, so they will push the video lesser. It's kind of a double whammy. So thank you for watching. Do press the like button again, and I'll see you guys in the next update.